With this change to Mongo, it necessitated changes in our mid-tier application to accommodate this new structure. We are using a library called Mongoose, which is a library running inside of Node that allows us to easily connect to a Mongo instance and perform our transactions through the mid-tier. This also allows us to do database schema validation, which makes our validation process much simpler. It's actually streamlined a lot of what we were hoping to do as far as validation, pretty much right out of the box. That's been extremely handy. But to make the change over from storing in local JSON files to storing in the Mongo instance, we needed to cut over from one system to another. I think that Sharina and I did a very good job of designing these changes using good separation of responsibilities with our application. The the file that we have that handles HTTP requests coming in, it was very straightforward to cut over from one system to another because we adhered to good design patterns. Essentially, we just needed to rename an import, make a few other small changes, and then we were done. The structure that we followed sort of resembled a facade pattern where the method names that were used were kept the same between the local JSON storage and the Mongo storage versions of the application. And this meant that cutting over from one version to another, the method names could stay the same, the method signatures would stay the same, and the return types would stay the same. This meant that our change process was much more straightforward than it otherwise needed to be, and this meant that we could focus on making the changes as far as how Mongoose was going to talk to the Mongo instance. Now, with this change, we've completed our implementation of a full mean stack. Mean stands for Mongo, Express, Angular, and Node. It gets passed around in the industry a lot because, at least the theory is that you're writing in one language throughout. Mongo is a JavaScript-based storage system. Express and Node are a JavaScript-based server-side system, and Angular is, of course, a JavaScript-based UI application. One of the really big advantages that this gives us is that we are working in JSON throughout our application now. I was honestly astonished at how easy this was to implement. We're working in JSON from the moment it's written in the Angular application all the way through the mid-tier application, and it gets stored as JSON in the final file that gets stored in the Mongo database. It makes our validations so much simpler. It makes all of our work just so much more straightforward. It's been really a joy to work with. This JavaScript throughout has been honestly a lot more exciting than I thought it was going to be. We have a pretty slick and streamlined product now with one data schema throughout, and that's been really exciting to work with. I think it's a good testament to what the team has accomplished.